Hey guys, hello and welcome back to another episode of GameHammer Dailies. This is Dizzy Week. We're going to be looking at a few of his adventures that aren't proper adventures. We've got 3 here on the second Dizzy's Excellent Adventures box set. We have today Panic Dizzy. So here we have it, one of the worst regarded Dizzy games, Panic Dizzy. It's a puzzler that I always found a bit slow and not really fun to play, but we're going to give it a try and see whether it's grown on me, because back then I was about 12, maybe even 13. Wow, that's loud. But it got slated in the magazines because it has a terrible colour scheme. So let's give it straight into it and see what it's like. But yeah, I wasn't a fan at the time. Let's give it a try now though. As colour schemes go, basing your game around red and orange is certainly a brave decision. Panic Dizzy, which the cover calls Dizzy Panic, and it's always great when you have a game that can't decide on its own title, is an arcade puzzle game where you have to match the shape of falling blocks to holes in a conveyor belt. It's like a cross between Tetris and those baby's first blocks puzzles that we all remember from early childhood. It's also about as much fun as those block games, if truth be told. There's really not a lot to this game. It's a rudimentary puzzle game with 4 different shapes that can fall from the top of the screen, plus signs, circles, stars and triangles, which means that there is one less shape here than in baby's first blocks. Yay! The shapes fall in a random order, but the conveyor belt will take on one of only a few patterns at the start of play or at the start of a new level, so you can quickly get used to the rhythm if you play for a while. After a few plays, you'll get the hang of moving the conveyor belt left and right to allow the blocks to fall into the hoppers at the bottom of the screen. Once you do that, you've pretty much mastered the game, because there's nothing else to it. It's a simple puzzle game, and to be absolutely brutally honest with you, Dizzy is not required in this game. Amstrad Action recommended that you play this game with a bottle of Optrex to hand, because the colour scheme will destroy your eyes. Now, I don't think it's quite that bad, although I do sincerely question why the CPC, which is capable of displaying a large range of decent colours, is stuck with such a garish colour choice. And there's no variation either. As far as I saw, the colour scheme doesn't change as the game progresses. It sticks with one scheme throughout. A bit of variation as the difficulty level increases would have been a nice touch to break up the monotony. Speaking of monotony, I don't like the music on this game. It feels very short, very slapped together, and it has nothing going for it. So, it's not even got a good tune. Dizzy games usually have a good tune, one that's catchy and will stick with you. This one, unfortunately, doesn't. And that pretty much sums up Panic Dizzy. Gameplay wise, there's nothing here. there's nothing to it. You might be asking yourself what Dizzy has to do with this game, and that would be a fair question. He's right there in the middle of the screen, moving the lever left and right in correspondence with the player's inputs on joystick and keyboard. But that is all he does. You could replace him with literally any other character, or no character at all, and the game would not be affected. Out of all the arcade games that Dizzy has been dropped into, this is the most egregious. He doesn't need to be here. He's only in the game to put his name on the cover. I am absolutely certain of that. Your final score was 0. What? It didn't even give me a score. The game is an early entry in the Dizzy series after the Oliver twins had passed development over to Big Red Software, and I have to say, it does show. Big Red made some excellent Dizzy games. Magic Land, which they developed shortly before Panic Dizzy, and Prince of the Oak Folk are my favourites out of all of their stuff, but Panic Dizzy is a mark on their record. As puzzle games go, there's very little to this one. It's monotonous and it doesn't throw enough at the player to keep them interested. In this kind of situation, they're just dropping correctly into the right holes and I don't have to move until this one comes down. So it's not even that hard in terms of gameplay. There's not a lot to it. There could have been a lot more involved and there isn't. It's one of those situations, I suppose. As Dizzy games go, it's even worse. Dizzy has next to nothing to do with this, and I have to say I do feel let down having this in an otherwise decent collection of Dizzy games. It has potential. It could have been a very interesting game. It doesn't need Dizzy in it, wouldn't have stood on its own. I'll give it the way it is. It wouldn't have stood on its own. But there we are. Not much else we can say. It's not my favourite game. When I was a kid and I first saved up to buy the Dizzy's Excellent Adventures box set, I have to admit I only played this one once, maybe twice at most. It wasn't a game that held my attention back then, and it's not a game I'm going to come back to today. Skip this one unless you absolutely have to play everything with Dizzy's name on it. Okay, there you are. It's not that brilliant a game, I have to admit. It's one of those that's... why is Dizzy in this? But it could be anyone there. They could have no one there. It would still be the same game. But that's how it is. This basically stuck Dizzy in as a way of filling space and getting Dizzy on the name of the game. So, not the best, but hopefully tomorrow we'll have something better. So, I'll see you tomorrow for another episode. And remember, if you did like this one, remember to click that like button. Share it too, so that your friends will know a good game when they see it. Or in this case, not a good game. And do subscribe for future videos because you will be getting more in the future. But until next time, I've been Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching GameHammer Dailies, and I'll see you tomorrow.